Hello and welcome back. I'm really, let's say, disappointed or saddened. I just observed or found out that, okay, during the course of explaining, I came back to check if we're all moving together, only to find out that the live stream has ended like it did the last time. And this time, unfortunately, it stopped. In fact, I'm tired. Let me just quickly uh, flow through what we have. I was designing the login page and from watching the previous video, I observed that it stopped very far away from where I was. So to carry everyone along, I would delete and start from the beginning. Ah, and that's why I dropped a number there in the Discord channel so that next time this happens, someone will just call me to let me know that the live stream has ended. I've been speaking with the hopes that we're all together, not knowing that the stream stopped 11 minutes. 11 minutes, what's the time now? This is 11:57. And I'm going to YouTube now to watch the live stream, and I'm seeing that it ended in 11 minutes. Why I've been speaking for over how many hours? How many minutes now? So please, if you're the one in the class, please kindly say hello. Let me know who I'm with, and ensure that this thing is recording and everybody's we're in we're in that we are in this together. Please, if you're the one in class, please just say hello. Please, I'm begging. I don't want to be repeating what I'm saying anymore. If you are present in the class, just say hello. Let me know the people that are currently present. And it also helped me to know that this thing is recording. And it's also helped me to know that it's we are in the live flow, not and that we're not being delayed or dragged back or please, if you can hear me and you're the one in the class, please just say hello. So now I'll be moving back to Figma. Let me share my screen. Oh God, all these things I've been saying, yet none of them was recording. Okay, so I think the other video ended where I was talking about creating a login page, and I said sign up, register, create account. They are all the same thing. Then I came to this up here, copied this Cynthia coffee, I brought it here and pasted it here. And it came in white, so I had to change the color by clicking here using my color picker and picking black color black. Then I also reduced the size just like we have here, which I told you that uh this we don't have an icon for Cynthia coffee. What we are using is a wordmark logo, and that was why I had to use a wordmark logo for the Cynthia coffee. Then we have this create account. What I did, Control C, come here, Control V, then you can see that it is in white, Control C, it is in white, and I need it to be in black. So it is selected. I will just change the color to black and align it to the center account. So basically, I just change in order to give our app users more detailed information and not just have them walk into the app blindly. I had to introduce this other subtext that say kindly provide accurate and legit details to secure your account. So, and that was what I did here. So now that I have that, so now that I have that, I'm going to have the next thing, which is um okay. I think in the other video we didn't capture how we did this, which I said that what I did basically was to type in this 9:49 a.m. is a text, and I used semi popping semi bold to make it bolder and have it as 16. Then for these icons, you can see that I've already grouped them. I talked about how I did them in the other video, but I didn't know it was not recording, and it's breaking my heart. Please, if you're the one in the class, just say hello. Let me know who I'm with in this class. So here I talked about a third party application called plugins that people use to get icons instead of. So how do I get those icon? I'll right click, go to plugins. So plugins, it's telling me that these are the ones used in my previous use of Figmas, and manage plugin is like going to the market. And I know that for new accounts like you guys, you will be having this manage plugin option, asking you to go to the market where every plugins is being sold for. So I'm going to click manage plugins. When you're looking for an icon, you can just type icon. It will bring out everybody that has, just like, let me use the market scenario. It will bring out all the market people that are selling icons. So you are free to use anyone you want. And at first, we went to feather icon. I clicked feather icon that I want to access. Okay, precious Mecca. Okay, thank you for saying hello, and my apologies earlier. I didn't know that this thing has stopped, and I was speaking and speaking, asking people to type and let me know that it's working, but nobody was doing that. Only for me to come back a few minutes later and find out that the live stream has ended, which prompted me to send a new link. So sorry about that. If you can move to a location where your network can be stable, that will be highly appreciated. So coming to Feather icon, you can see the icons that are available. So I'm looking for signal icon. I'll type the word signal. You can see what Feather icon has. You can tap on it and it will reflect in your layer that this thing has been added to your Figma file. Then the next one we have is battery. If I type battery, you can see the type of battery that Feather icon has. It doesn't have this kind of one that I'm looking for. If it's this one that you want to work with, good and fine. If it's this one, good and fine. But this is not the one I want to work with. And for Signal, it doesn't have this other one. So what do I need to do? You can see that these are the other icons that it has. And I also mentioned that these are outline icons. Outline icons are icons that are made up of stroke. You can see this our battery icon that is a fill icon because it has fill. Remember we'll talk about fill and stroke. These are all outline icons. So I'm looking for this kind of fill icon, but feather icon doesn't have it. So what do I need to do? Cancel out from feather icon, go back to plugins again, go to manage plugins, and then go for Iconify. So Iconify is another type of vendor that sells icon. So what I'm going to do is, you can see it has fill icons, it has outline icons and all those things. It has illustrated icons. So depending on what design you are creating, you are free to go with the design flow. So I'm going to check for battery. So for battery, I'm going to click enter, and I have all this type of batteries, which I said I wanted to go with this one. I'll click enter, and it will not, it doesn't implement immediately like feather icon. It will ask you to import as frame or import as component. At this stage of your learning, we are importing as frame. So I'll click import and it will import. But you can see that it went to import inside my Control Z. You see, it's not even working. Control Z is not even working. You can see that it went to import inside my what's it called? The icon I had there before. Control Z. Control Shift Z. Control Shift Z to get something back. So I have this. But the problem now is that when we went to Iconify and I selected my battery and said enter, it went and entered inside the same frame with this, which is not what I want. So before you click that, it should bring in another thing, ensure that nothing is selected. So now I'm going to click this and say import as frame. It has imported. And as you can see, it didn't go to import inside this other one. So ensure that nothing is selected when you are importing. Also, I'm going to check signal, and you can enter. and it will show me the signal icons that Iconify has. Then you select and then you import as frame. So that was how I was able to get these icons inside here. And when I got them, this one is in 18. No, let me, you are clicking on the frame, not the element inside the frame. So you can see that here I clicked on the element inside the frame, but I want to click the frame name. You can see that this one is in 24, this one is in 18. What I did basically was arrange them together and give them 18, 18, 18. And also I grouped them. And you can see that the spacing between each three of them is 4 pixels. So the spacing between each of them is 4 pixels. And that was what I did. And I grouped them. We talked about grouping in our yesterday's class because they are in one section. And also I needed to also I needed to also group it with this other one. And I needed to also group it with this other one, and they became a group. And that was how we created that. And that was how we created that. So I'll get rid of this. Let me see. I think someone. Okay. And that was how we created that. So coming back to Figma now, we've talked about how we created this, how we created this, and how we created this. So the next thing was this full name thing. So how do we do that? What I did was create a rectangle. So let me even see the size I used for this one. 50. So we have rules that guides this the size of a button. We have rules like having a height of 48, 56, 54. But I told you that we are doing freestyling in this our early class. Once you just learn how to get a hold of this, I'll start being strict with the measurements. So here, you can see how it came. It came with D9, D9 and sharp edges. It's looking too serious. I don't want this. So what I did was go here, reduce the opacity. I reduced the opacity and gave it a stroke. And also for the stroke, I reduced the opacity of the stroke and also gave it a corner radius of 10. And that was how I had my rectangle. And for this rectangle, it needed what's it called? A title and a placeholder. And I said that a placeholder is a text that is there, faded a little, but still giving the user guideline of what is expected of the user. So to proceed, what I did was I just came here, Control C, I copied this because I don't want to duplicate it in the same group so that it don't enter the same group with this. This is a group on its own. So I just copied it and did Control Shift R. So Control Shift R, I will edit the text to full name. So I'll edit the text to full name, and I'm having this. So I'm selecting this and this to ensure that the spacings between them is 4. I want the spacings between them to be 4. Okay, well, I wrote full name. Okay. So I'll ensure that the spacing between them is 4. So what is a placeholder? A placeholder is this thing I'm talking about here. Example, Johnny Kechukwu. You can see that it is faded. It is not as visible as this other one. It is to be there as a background placeholder that tells the user the kind of information that is expected of the user. So what I'm going to do is Control C, then come here, Control V to place it, and you can see that it's plating on top of each other. So I'll drag it down. Then I'll say example, John Okafor or Johnny Ikechukwu, depending. But you can see that after typing this, it's too, it's dragging opacity level with this other one, which it can lead to confusion. But we don't want that for our user. So we need to reduce the opacity of that text. We don't want it to be dragging for superiority. We just want it to be subtle in the background so that it will give the user a guideline of what is expected of from the user or him or her. Then we have this. Then what did I do? Now that I have this and this is expected to be a unit. So I'll hold down my shift key and duplicate it and control G. Is now a group. Then it has to be a group with this other one. Then control G. Now I have this, their unit. So now that I have it, I don't need to come and start. Let me align it to the center. I don't need to come and start doing this, doing the same thing for email and the rest of them. What I just need to do is to duplicate. Either you hold down your Alt key and pay and drag, or you do Control D and it gives you what you want. So I'm going to do full name. I'm going to do email address. So you don't need to come and start typing these things again from the beginning. What you just need to do is duplicate. Then you place the information the way it's expected, depending on the category or the input field, what the information that is expected looks like. Then you have that. Then you do the same for phone number, password, and the rest of it. So that was where our video cut. So I'm just going to replace this Ctrl Shift R to have this, and then delete this other one. So the purpose why I redid everything I did was to show you we missed out, what we missed out in the previous videos that didn't record properly. So now that we've done the full name, the email address, the phone number. So for phone number, I just did the same thing, duplicate. Password, I did the same thing. So where I stopped that made me realize that the video was not recording was when I was talking about getting the icons, getting the icons for password. So for password, you need an eye icon to show when the password is visible and when the password is not visible. So what do we do? I went back to um, plugins, then went to feather icons. So under feather icons, I searched I and I saw this and I brought both of them into my Figma just like I did in the previous examples. So that was how I got this. So currently in this situation where the password is blinded, that means I'm going to use this to show that the password is blinded. So I'm going to click in this group. You know that this element, this particular this thing is a group on its own. So I'm going to click in it on it and also click inside the group that I want the new icon to be in. And I will do Control V. And now it has entered inside a particular group that I want it to be in. So I'm not just placing it carelessly. Now that it's here, you can see that it is too visible, like the opacity is too much compared to what is expected. So now I'll click and reduce the opacity to 13. It's there, but it's not too there. Then another thing I'm going to do is to reduce the size to 18, just like I did for the signal icon and the battery icon, and reduce them to 18. And that's how you have that. So looking at the example we are working with, you can see it is there also. So if it is too dark, you feel that it's too faded, because I use the opacity of the text, you can just bring it up a little. Let me do 16 or 18. Can see that it is there and it's visible enough. And then the next thing we are going to be doing, so I'm going to delete this one now. And you can see that I'm clicking it based on the icon, on the frame that is housing it. If you click on the tiny frame, you see the elements that makes up that icon frame. So I'm dragging it based on the frame. Then the next one I'm going to do is to confirm the password. So to confirm the password, I'm going to Control X to cut it and come here and do Control Shift R to replace it, and also reduce the size to 18, and also check the opacity that I'm using here. I have it as 18. So I'm also going to reduce the opacity of this visible one to 18. And I have that. So now, to show that it is visible, I'm going to show what the password should look like when it is visible. So I'm going to say something like at 3A aja at 12, something like this, to show that the password is visible. To show that the password is visible. And now I have this. And also, one thing you should bear in mind that this is the empty state. As you can see, the username is not there, the email address is not there. These are just placeholder text that is telling the user what is expected of the user. So I can just say that this is an empty state of what the what's it called, the sign up page should look like. So now we're not done. We have that, we have password, then we have register. Then if you already have an account, you should sign in with login. So it's time for our action button, which is telling the user to register. But before our action button, we have to make sure that these groups, the spacings between them is even. So I'm going to align horizontal center, and then the spacings around them is mixed. So I'm going to use the spacing of 2, and it's okay. I think 12 is too close. Let me use 16. As 16 is okay. And now I get to group this as a group. They have to be a group. So Control G. Now I have this as a group. So you can see that it's a group. This one is a group. Then this and this should be a group, which the spaces around them is 18. I can do Control G. I'm okay with that. Then you can see that this is a group and this is a group, which is all right. Then the next thing is to So the next thing now is to create the action button. So we already have an action button. I'm going to do Control C, come here, Control V, and have it placed. But one thing with this particular color is because this thing is on the empty state. That means our button have to be in empty state too. So what does it mean? Our button is not going to be this colored. It's going to be D9 related. And then the text, I can just change the text to 60. Let me see what it looks like, to show that this is an empty state. That when the user starts imputing the text, the this button can now come alive to look like this. So instead of get started, what we're going to have is register or sign up, depending on the wordings you're using. So be be conscious of the word you're using. If you're using sign up is the same thing as register, is the same thing as create an account. Sign in and log in is the same thing. So be conscious of that. And because this is an empty state, everything has to be gray. It's an empty state. So when the user starts imputing the information, the button can now get colored like this. So we're still going to do it. And another thing is that if I feel like I feel like this my page is boring, it's too boring. I want it to at least have some life in it. So what I can do is that I'm going to search for doodles. So I believe I'm sharing my whole screen. So I'm going to search for doodles. Doodles, let me type doodles so you see. Doodles, coffee doodles. Let me use cause. So Precious, I don't know if you can still hear me. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay. So I'll be proceeding. And so I'll be proceeding. And this is what we have. Then we have the register button, which I have here. Then the next thing we should be implementing is, are you already have an account? You should log in. So we have this already have an account, you should log in. So what I'm going to do is come here, select this one, Control C. In order to just place it in a position that I want it to be exact, I'll just duplicate this and I'll say Control Shift R to have this. Then I have to change the text to already have an account, then with question mark. Or so for the sign up, I can write it together, or sorry, sign in. Well, let me use the word login, because some the people you are, this word login, sign up, create account, it depends on the user you are targeting. Most people don't really understand that. So in most situations, it's advisable to use as the simplest term possible. It's advisable to use the clearest term, so that irrespective of your user's literacy level, they will be able to understand what is expected of them. So now I have this text called login, create an account. And remember that the login is expected. Is this thing still recording? Let me confirm. Okay, Precious, can you see the screen now? Precious, if you can see the screen, please let me know. And I wish if this comments comes with timestamp to help me know when the comment was made. Please, if you can see my screen now, and if you can hear me, please kindly notify and say something on the comment section. Precious, if you can hear me, please say hello or say something in the comment section. These comments don't come with with timestamp, so I don't know when this message was received, and if you can now see my screen. So moving forward, you can see that this the login has a different color. It's giving a different color to get user attention, so that when a user comes to this section, they can see that there is an option that has been created for them, to another alternative for them to log in a situation whereby they already have an account. So I've selected a particular area that I want to be affected. And also I will now give it a huge font to make it stand out. So now it's standing out. Then another thing is that this and this have to be a unit. So I'm going to select the both of them, align horizontal to ensure that they are in the center, and then check this thing, the distance between them. So I'm going to make it 16, and then do Ctrl G to save them, and I'll have it aligned to the center. So now we have this. So now we have three groups: this group, and this group. And we have to ensure that everything is properly balanced. So what we do is, so Precious, I don't know if you can still see my screen now. I'm still yet to get your response to that question. And what I'm going to do now is select this group, and align them horizontal center to ensure that uh, everything is properly placed. So before that, I'm going to select this and select this. They're already aligned to the center, but what I'm working now is on the spacing between them. So this and this, having it as 34. Let me do 32 and see how it reflects. And I'm having it as this. So I'm having this as 32, and I'm doing Ctrl G. Then I'm also selecting this and selecting this, and also placing the distance between them at 42 and doing Ctrl G. Now I have them as a single unit. I'll place it horizontal center, and I'll place it vertical center, creating a balance and making it look more friendly. So with this now, we've created our sign up page. So we're having this. So the next thing now is, for this, we need to create we need to create a we need to create a state where it is active. So the active state, I'm going to differentiate this as empty state. I'm going to differentiate this as empty state, then Control D, and let this one know that it is the field state. So I'm going to state it out as the field state. So for this field state now, the element is going to change. So now, Ikechukwu John, let's say that the user have assigned their text, they've imputed their details. So the user have imputed their details, and now the example is not expected to be there. So Control C, I'll click to replace. So I'm having Ikechukwu John at gmail.com. Sorry, Control Z, at gmail.com. So when you input your detail as a user, this is how it's now going to be displayed, to show that yes, this is the active state. The user has imputed the detail, and this is what is being displayed. So this is how it reflects. Likewise, this one, just have to increase the opacity to 100 to show that it is active. The same thing, 100, to show that it is active. The same thing, 100, to show that it is active. So with this now, we have an active state. Then Control C, here we're having registered. Sorry, Control Z. So we're having this as register. So we're having this. So you can see the difference between the empty state and when the user starts imputing elements into the input field. Then we have this. So this is the field state and this is the empty state for registering. Then for sign up, and okay, let me also mention that there are situations where the length of the file can increase. So where we have something like this, giving the user the option to sign up with this, that sign up with their Facebook or sign up with Google. So to do that, what we have is to create an alternative. And to create that alternative, we are creating, following the design I just showed you, we have this, and then I will duplicate it to have this. So what I need to do is Control Shift R, okay, Control Z. So let me get a text, Control C, Control Shift R. So I'll just type all, giving the option that the user can sign in with these alternatives. So I'll select, and I ensure that they are aligned, and I'll now do Control G to have them as a unit. So we have this. So the next option is they should register through Google or through Facebook. So what do I need to do? There are different ways to place that options. Just like we have in this other place, you can see how it was placed. Then in this other design, you can see how it was placed. So it depends on the designer and maybe the product owner. Then we have this. So I'll be going with the other option because I'll be going with this other option because it's subtle. I don't want it to be conflicting with this. This particular one gives me something that is subtle and clear, while this other one is kind of having three different buttons at the same time. So I don't want that confusion. So what I will do is to create a rectangle for my icons to reside in. So I'll have it lock my aspect ratio have it as 80, then have it as 80, then also have the text to pure white. Then there's something we call effect. Under the effect, if I click on the effect, you'll see something like drop shadow. You can see that this thing now have a shadow effect. Let me close it up so that you see. So you can see that it has a shadow effect. While previously, if I blind it, you will not see the shadow effect. But when once you use effect, it pop that thing up. It pops it up. So we have standard measurements for creating the shadow effect, but we won't get into it today. So for now, we'll be using this. But in order to avoid the opacity of the shadow, I'll be using 14 to make it more subtle in this particular design. And here, I'll be using the opacity of 20 to make it more friendly. So now that I have this, what is missing out is the Google icon and the Facebook icon. So what do I need to do? I will have to I will have to use Google and search for Google icon and Facebook icon. So I will come here, search Google icon, Facebook icon. So I'll click enter and watch the search engine give me what I want. So here we're having this. So depending on the color you want to use, do you want to use the dark color or use bright colors? So let me go to image and see other options that are available for me to utilize. So we have this, and another thing you should bear in mind is how these images are placed. You can see this one is in a circular format. You can see that this one is in a rectangular format. You can see that this one is just existing on its own. So uniformity is very, very important. Anyone you are using, ensure that it is consistent. So ensure that it's consistent. So anything, the next thing is to ensure. Now, with if I'm using if I'm using this rectangle for Facebook, I also have to look for the same option for rectangle. So right now, I'm having this. So I'll copy this image. I'll copy this image and bring it to and bring it to Figma. So I'll have it placed here. So now that I have it placed here, I'm going to look for the same option for Google. So for Google, I'm having this. So for Google, I'm having this option. So, and I'm looking for the one that has the same feel with the rectangular Facebook option. And I can't, okay, I'm seeing it here. So let me click on this image and know if it's going to give me other alternative that will give a clearer feel to it. So can't find. Okay, okay. So I have this. So I'm going to copy this particular image and now proceed with it. So here, okay, it is saved directly to my system. So I will have to get it through the system and place here. So Precious, I don't know if you can see the screen now. I'm still online and I don't know. If you can hear me, please say something. I'm just seeing your message and okay. So now that we have this, we are having this Google icon and we're having Facebook icon in this. But one funny thing about Figma, which Though in what's it called? In Photoshop, you there's a way around this, but in Figma, there is I think okay, let me try and see. I need to cut out this icon and cut out this icon. So I think the best I can do currently, let me think, let me duplicate and try using the crop option and see how it happens or how it would fit in. So in the crop option, I'm having the option to crop this icon. So I'm going to crop this icon. And now I have the cropped version of this. Then am free to now use this cropped version, which I'll now bring into my Figma file. And I'm having this. So you can see that it is bigger than the rectangle that I have created earlier. So I have to reduce it to fit into that rectangle properly. And now I can now click on the rectangle too and ensure that both are properly aligned. And I'll now do Ctrl G to save that. So I need to do the same thing for the Facebook icon. So for the Facebook icon, also okay, since we already have this, and I'll just go to the image again. Okay, Precious, let me just quickly stop sharing and reshare if you still can see my screen. So I'll stop sharing now and I will reshare again. So can you still see it? Please, if you can see it, just notify that you can see it. And I just stopped sharing and I reshared again. So I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see the screen right now. But if you can, please just let me know that you can see it. I just stopped sharing and I started resharing again. So can you see the screen now? So if you can see my screen, just let me know that you can see my screen. Hello? Hello, if you can see my screen, just let me know that you can see my screen. So proceeding now, I'll click here and now I'm going to click on the crop icon and crop. I'll crop this. Now I'm going to crop out the Facebook icon. So I'm going to do the same thing. So how I'm going to do this is to check the I'm going to check the size, and the size of what I have here is 54 by 55.2. So let me make it 54, 54 and see what it looks like. So I'm now going with the option of 54, 54. So I'm going to make 54 by 54. And now I will ensure that it is aligned to the center. So I'm going to do the same thing with this Facebook icon, 54 by 54. So 54 by 54, I have this. So I'll do Control X and come and replace it here. So I have this. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Precious. I'm happy you can see the screen now. So let's proceed. I'm just going to make it 8 to ensure that they are well separated. So Control G now, I've made it an icon. So I just aligned it to the center. I aligned it to the center to align properly, and that is that. So now that we have this, we just have to replicate the same thing for the field version. I told you that this one is the field version and the other one is the empty state. So for this field version, I'm going to select this and make them a unit by Control G. So Control G, they are now selected. Then Control C, I'll click here and do Control V to place it here, and I have it here. So now we've created option to either impute this detail when they are signing up to the account, or they should use their Google account or their Facebook account. So once they click on any of this option, the developers are going to develop it in a way that once they click on any of this icon, it opens up to their Google interface, asking them, do you want to sign up using, maybe if their Facebook name is Ikechukwu Okafo, using your Facebook name Ikechukwu Okafo, then they can now give permission in that particular interface, and voila, their registration is signed in. So now we've created a splash screen, we've created an onboarding pages, and then we've created a sign up interface. Now that we've created a sign up here, that is registration interface, it is time to create the login, which is the sign in interface, in a situation whereby they've already had an account. So what we're going to have is to duplicate here, Control D. Okay, before this, because we are creating empty state for each of the states. So we're having Control D, which is login. So I'm going to have this as, so we're going to have this as sign in, and then we have login. So I told you that login and sign in is the same thing. Why sign up and create account and register is the same thing. So now that we have this for login, this thing will no longer read create account. This will this will read as login. This will read as login. So this will read as login, and then we'll have it aligned to the center. So I'll say kindly provide. So this English will now change. So what I would say is kindly provide your login details to have access. Kindly provide your login details or credentials to kindly have access to your to this application. So another thing you should have in mind is that there's something we call UX writing. So okay, so now we have what we call UX writing. UX writing has to do with the kind of languages that is being used in a certain application or website. For example, now, and I told you that in a well-developed country like Facebook, there are people that specialize on choosing the color of the app, the icon that will be used, the kind of language that will be used on the app. But here, you're going to be the one doing everything. So, for example, now in UX writing, the writer can say, "No, I don't want to use this language. Kindly use your login details." The UX writer, which is you in this situation, might say, "No, no, this language does not give the kind of feel I want it to give. Maybe I want," and that's where ChatGPT comes in these days. So you don't even need a UX writer anymore. You can just copy this and tell ChatGPT. You can just copy this. So Control C, just copy this and tell ChatGPT, I want you to rewrite this. So I'm going to paste this and say, rewrite, rewrite this to be professional. So what ChatGPT is going to do is ChatGPT is just going to read it and then tell me, you see, please enter your login details to have access to this app. So basically, the invention of ChatGPT has made it easier that you don't even need a UX writer anymore. So you can see what ChatGPT wrote. Please enter your login details to gain access to this app. And depending on how you prompt ChatGPT, that's how it's going to what it's going to give you. So uh, that is by the way. So I believe you understood what I have said so far according to this. So now in logging in, what are the details you want the user to provide when they are logging in? So in that's the situation whereby we want them to provide their email. So this time around, the user does not need to provide their full name again. So I need their email and then their password. That's what I need them to provide in logging in. So I'm going to delete these other options that I don't need them to provide in the login phase. So now we have this. So in logging in, the user doesn't need to provide all those same details they provided in signing up. So I'm going to ungroup this so that I can arrange them properly, because Okay, so I'm going to do the same, the circle now. Let me create a new frame, Control F. So I have this new frame now. When I was creating this element, after creating it, the page felt boring. Look at what I had. Let me just copy this and paste here so that you see what I have. Control V. So I had this, and it was looking so boring. It's making the application look boring, and I didn't want that. So in order to make it like to make it more better and friendly, I needed to create elements to pop up this. At first, I went to Google to search for doodles. So watch my this thing. So I searched for coffee doodles. So coffee doodles gave me these things. So I don't know. There was a time where WhatsApp, before you log into WhatsApp, on their splash screen on WhatsApp, they used technology doodles to place there, reduce the opacity to make it visible. So I had to use a doodle, but doodle did not give me what I want. So I had to, okay, let me place the doodle here, Control V. So now that I've created doodles, I have doodles here, everything I've created, which is not what I want. So I have to drag the doodles. I'll have to drag the doodles below. So now I've dragged it below, but also I need to reduce the opacity of the doodle. You can see that it is still, let me go with 3. So you can see here that the doodle is there, but it's conflicting with my write-up. Doodle is more advisable to use when designing the splash screen, not where you have details on. So when I did this, it was not giving me what I want. So I had to delete it. And I alternative to make this image, to make this page pop. So I had to create circles. So in creating circles, I just held down. Remember, I taught you how to create a circle, and I have this a perfect circle. I just drag it out a little. So I drag it out a little, and then remember I taught you how to change the fill color, and I clicked and selected black color, and I have black. Then the next thing I did was create another circle, hold down the shift key. So now that I've created another circle, I positioned it, then also went to the fill and selected the color. Then the next one is to hold down shift, hold down alt key. I taught you that to duplicate, you can use alt key. So ensure that what you are dragging is still inside the frame. Oh. So this was how I created this. So to blind this frame and ensure that everything I put is inside it, you can see that everything is inside it. So none of it was left behind. So have you understood how I created the circle, Precious? Hello, Precious. If you can still hear me, just let me know circle understood so that I can proceed. So that was how I created the circle. Can you hear me? Hello? Precious, if you can hear me, please kindly say yes to the circle thing so that I can proceed. So that was how I created the circle basically. So now I'll be deleting that. And now it's time to go back to this. So in signing up, if the user provide these details, then they can proceed to or sign up. And then we have to ensure that the spacing between this is appropriate. Then also the spacing I had between this and this is 42. So I will ensure that I have the same. Okay, I need to group this and this. This and this should be a group. Then this and this should be a group where I'm having 42 as the distance between them. And now we have a empty state for the login. So the empty state for the login, we're having this. So this is 956. This is 995. So we're having this. Then now we have our empty state for our coffee, our login state. Then to do the field state. Okay, thank you, Precious. Thank you, Precious. That was lovely. So for the login page, we're now having login or sign in, depending. But instead of already have an account, what we will say is don't have an account. So here we are saying don't have an account. That means if you don't have an account, so we will not be saying it as if you don't have an account. That's where the UX writing also plays a part. We say don't have an account. We'll now say register. You either register or you sign up, depending on the UX term you decide to use. So I'll just do the same thing and control replace. Then also for this register, we're having login. So we have this as login. Now you can see that we have all this option that they can sign up by providing these details or using their this, and they can also log in by providing these short details or log in through any of these their verified accounts. And now we have a sign up page and a login page showing the empty state and the filled state for each of them. So do you have any questions so far? Okay, if you have any question, just let me know and I'll come to that. So now we have successfully created a splash screen, an onboarding screen, uh, an empty sign up page, a field sign up page, an empty login page, and a field login page. So in a situation whereby the user, let me get my earpods to ensure that I'm hearing you properly. Rain is falling. So okay, okay. Please, can you let me know if you can hear me? Rain is falling here, and I don't know if it's affecting my audio. Please let me know if it is affecting my audio. Okay, tell me if my voice is clear. Let me know if my voice is clear. You can type voice clear. Let me know if my voice is clear. Okay, if you can hear me, let me know that my voice is clear. You can type voice clear. Okay, okay, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, let's proceed. Practically bring you to what the app looks like. And that's where we talk about things like this. Here you can see that after signing up, that's where you enter interfaces like this that tells you, hello precious, welcome to Coffee Cafe. Get this. These ones are recommended for you. This is the price we are selling for. These are the proper brands, popular brands. This is the coffee shop. So this is where this other interface comes in play. So I'm also going to show you examples of other ones where we have things like this. You can see how this other person designed their own interface, telling you your image, Lagos, Nigeria, your cart, your shopping cart, your notification, your search bar. In a situation whereby you are searching in a situation whereby you are searching for a particular product, and then you get to see their advert for buy one get one free. Then this one also have a category. If you are searching for cappuccino, you tap cappuccino, it will filter out all the cappuccinos that they have. If you're looking for cold brew, if you're looking for any kind of coffee, based on this scroll, you get to see them. Then also, we have this other design that is telling us that this is what their home page looks like. You get to see this cafe. It tells you test the best coffee and refresh your mind. You can see their search icon. Then you can see the different categories of coffee that they have. They have cappuccino, they have latte, they have hot tea, americano, blah blah blah. Depending on the section you click, you get to see that. So that is for that one. Then we also have this other one that tells us that this is what their login page looks like. Hello, Bruka. Good morning. Look at the coffee, cappuccino, espresso, and you can see how they designed their interface. This is the kind of interfaces that the front end developers or mobile app developers, when they see it, they'll just be angry with UI UX designers. They'll be like, now you go code this thing, now you go developer. So this is how this is crazy, and this is how designs are being made. So the next one we have is for this other one. So for this other one, you can see how their design their sales card, their promo card, package, cappuccino, depending on the category that you want to explore. Then also we have for this particular design. This particular design is telling us this. Okay, look at what they did with Doodle. Remember I told you about Doodle? You can see how it was placed in this particular interface, which is okay. Why I removed Doodle from my sign up page is that on the sign up page we have a lot of write-ups that requires the user to input their details. So it's not advisable to use Doodle in a very sensitive page like sign up page where users are expected to put their details. A lot of people might get carried away with those doodle drawing, or something can just, it can affect their thinking and they will just be inputting wrong details. So in a field or in an interface that requires users input, it is advisable to keep it as clear as possible. But you can see how they used it in this interface where they placed the doodles. You can see that it was well placed, making the page look more beautiful. Okay, okay. So making the page look more beautiful. So here you can see how they place their cappuccino, their this thing, and if you're searching for anyone, you have to be scrolling horizontally. So different design, different field, depends on what you or your client wants. So now you can, okay, let's talk about another design for the home page. Now you've signed up. What somebody could ask, where do I get this from? Currently we haven't implemented this kind of thing, this kind of keyboard in our what's it called, input or sign up, sign out or sign in and sign up page. So we'll talk about this in our as we design further, so just remind me about it. Then now we're talking about Starbucks. You have their hamburger icon. So when you click this hamburger icon, it brings out this that tells you about saved address, smart login, language, if you want to change the language, the frequently asked questions that people ask, the help, the privacy police, the terms and when you click the close icon, it goes back to the way it is. So also you have this task box icon, card telling you about the level your purchasing has put you in. You can see that the card owner is in green level. They purchased 21, their points has accumulated to 21. So also here also you can see that it has a card balance, meaning that you can pay for the service through the app, meaning that you need to fund your wallet to pay uh, through the app. Then you can see these other options: top up, pay, history, and report. Maybe you want to make a report about any of their products that didn't go well with you. So now I want you to decide which one we are going to be redesigning. Are we redesigning Abo Abocos? So let me know in the page if we are going to redesign the home page for Abacus, or if we are redesigning for this coffee, the normal coffee homepage, or if we are designing the homepage for Starbucks, or if we are designing, okay, this one is not, they didn't show everything about this. So let me know in the comment section which of the interface you want us to redesign, or are we redesigning this one? So we'll call this one coffee 2. So are we redesigning the one for coffee 2, or are we redesigning the one for coffee original? So okay, coffee now. So let me know which one you want us to redesign. Is it the one for coffee now, or the one for Starbucks, or the one for coffee 2, or just let me know. If you can hear me, let me know the one you want us to redesign. So Precious, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I'm asking which of the interfaces do you want us to redesign? The one for Coffee 2, or Coffee Now, or Abroku, or Starbucks, or uh, which other ones again? Which one do you want us to redesign? So I'll just display it again and give you 5 minutes to tell me which one you want us to redesign. Are we redesigning this one, Abrocos, or are we redesigning this normal coffee own? Are we redesigning this one? Or are we redesigning this one, this cappuccino Dudu own? So we'll call this one Dudu Coffee. Do you want us to redesign the one for Dudu Coffee for Starbucks, or the one for this one? We'll call this one Caffeine Coffee. Do you want us to redesign this coffee too? This choose your favorite coffee own. Do you want us to redesign this one, or do you want us to redesign the one for coffee now? So which one do you want us to redesign? Okay, the Abroko. Okay, that's great. So I'll just, and then just like I said, I'm going to duplicate what's it called, a frame, rather than creating new ones. I'll just, my design will be uniform and no element will be missing from any. So I will get rid of the elements that I will not be needing anymore. So I will delete, I will delete, and then I will delete. We are having the time, so we already have the time. And nothing about Abrocol is that the background is coffee like. It's a gradient color kind of. So for Abrocol, I'm going to click on the frame and let's do our color selection. So for Abrocol, we're having a gradient color. And this gradient color, here you can see it's it's lighter and here it's darker. So okay, I need to be seeing the one I'm doing. So I'll just reverse because this place has to be darker. So the darker part, I will tap on it. The darker part, I will tap on it, use my color picker and sample this dark color here. Then for this brighter part, I'll click on my color picker, drag this thing out so that I will be seeing what I'm doing. Then I'll zoom in and I will have this. So now it's, I think let's try radial because it's looking more like it did a radial kind of thing. So we're having this. So now that we have this, we're having that our time and the icons are in white color. So what do? We come here, click on this. It's giving us the selection color. I'll just type FFFFFF. I told you that FFF is what? Pure white. So that one has been achieved. Okay, that one has been achieved. So the next thing is to write, good morning, Shima. How would you like your coffee today? So instead of recreating that, I already have these write-ups. I'll just come here, click Control C, pick this one up, click here, Control V, and I have this. So what I'll need to do is to bring it down and say, good morning, Shima. Okay, good morning, Precious. Then the font size have to reduce. So I'm going to be going with 16. Then I'll say, how do you want your coffee today? So with question mark, because it's a question. Then the font size have to reduce to 12. So I'm working with 12 and 16. Then to check the spacing between these two things, the spacing between them is 0. So I'm going to give them a spacing of 2. And I have that. So the next thing we have there is the cart icon. That is basket icon for shopping. So we have that. So what I'm going to do is to, as usual, go to my go to my plugin. So I'm going to search plugin and go to icon, feather icon, and search cart. So you can see that I have cart. I have a cart icon there. So let me also check Iconify and see the kind of cart Iconify has. So I'll go to Iconify also and search for cart icon to see the kind of carts that they have. So I'll click enter and you can see the different kind of icons that Iconify has. So you are not limited to a certain type. So you are free to search and use anyone that suits the design or the purpose to which you are doing whatever you are doing. So you can see different icon styles that Iconify has. So when you don't see something in Iconify, you will find it in sorry, when you don't see something in Feather Icon, you could always find it in Iconify. So we have all this. But in the sample working with, you can see that there is a plus, there is a number icon telling us that we have three things in our in our cat icon. For example, let me scroll so you see it. So you can see that what we even have here is a fill icon. What is a fill icon? A fill icon is something that this is a fill icon. This is an outline icon. A fill icon has fill inside it. This one has only stroke. Stroke is what is showing there. But you can see that what we got from our feather icon is a is an outline icon. But what we need is a fill icon. So now I'm going to go with this fill icon. Then in remember that in Iconify, once you select anyone, it will ask you to choose how you want to import it. Do you want to import it as a frame or you want to import it as a component? So for now, we are working as a component. And now it has appeared in my Figma file. So I will now close off. Look at where it appeared. I'm going to drag it into into the frame I'm working with. I can now delete this one. This one is an outline icon. I don't want it. So I have this and I'll place it here. Another thing you should know is that we are working with a dark background. So we can't be working with a dark icon. So dark background, you use a light icon, a light element on top of it. So we're going to go with pure white in order to make what we are doing visible. Black on black and brown, they are all dark icon. So if you left the icon at black, you might not be users will not have a good experience with it, and what we are doing might not look neat and professional. So we have this. I'm going to increase the font size to 24 to make it more visible, and you can see that it is now more the size has increased to 24. Also, what we have there, we have a number. We have a number on it, maybe three, showing that something, you have three things, didn't come with a number. So we're going to be adding a number. You can see I'm finding the icon that is housing that thing. So I'm going to click and add a number. So I'm adding 4. Then, and to reduce the size of this number, let me go with 10. Why is it not? Okay. It was not selected, so I'm going with this. You can see that it is bigger, so I'll use my scale tool and also reduce the number again. Push it down. Then also, I'm going to use a font that has weight that can show properly. So I'm going to use semi-bold. You can see how semi-bold, medium, light, extra light. You can see how it affects the text. So semi-bold is the perfect choice in this situation. So I'm going to go with semi-bold. And with that, we have this icon thing. So this icon and this thing, they should be in the same line. So let's align them properly. So you can see that there is a problem. So Control Z, there is a problem. Let me click on this frame and blind it and see the elements that are not inside it. So it's telling me that everything is inside it, but something is still wrong because it's not grouping the way it's meant to group. So Okay, I'm going to do Control G and have them position. We have our first element that was displayed. Okay, if you have any question, let me know. If you can still hear me, let me know. Then the next thing that we have there is the card. So we have this card that says, see, blah, blah, blah. So we need to create this card. And to create such card, we have a rectangle. So it's a rectangle, and we're having this. So for this rectangle, we will be using, I was talking about glassmorphism. I don't know if the other video recorded it. I was saying that glassmorphism is a situation whereby you create a shape that is transparent. So currently in this design, they used it. It is transparent, you can see through it. And how do we create glassmorphism? It's all about using gradients and using white color, FFF, and then FFF, and reducing their opacity. So here, let's work with 24. So here, let's work with 12 and see. So it's looking transparent. Let's do 12 again and see what happens. So we're having this. You are free to rotate and play around as you seem fit. Can even play around with the dark modes to see what it looks like in different so none of them is giving me what I want, so I'll take it back to normal, and then I can close off. So we're having something similar, and then we have a corner radius of, let's work with 15 and see what 15 gives us. So we're having this at 15. I think 15 is too much. Let me do 10. So we're having this at 10. Then the next thing is the write-ups. So we have to get a cookie. So to get a cookie, I'm going to go to my Pinterest properly design and that is standalone. Or better still, let's do the background on because I need to teach you something in the background on. But I'm just plugins. It's the best time for it. Mm, oh, I'm looking for something that is standing alone that won't. Okay, I think this is a perfect choice, but also I'll get it so that it can also illustrate what I'm trying to do. So now we have this image. So I'm going to copy this image into Figma. So now I'm going back to my Figma. Okay, thank you, Precious, if you can hear me. So now I'm going back to my Figma to go and place that image of biscuit that I've just copied. So now I'm going to click here, click outside, and paste the image. But there's going to be a problem now because if I place it here, it will have a background, and I don't want that. So that's where a plugin we call remove BG comes in. So on this image now, the image is selected because I want remove background to work on the image that is currently selected. So now the image is selected. I'll right click and I'll have a plugin. So I'll go to manage plugin. On manage plugin, I'm going to search for remove BG. So even before I type the BG, the thing has popped up. So I'll click on remove BG and ask it to run. It can run when you've already set up your API key. But in a situation whereby you've not set your API key, I think my API, let me run and see. Let me run mine and see if my API key is still active. So you can see that it's been long I used remove BG. So it's asking me to set my API key first. and it's a good opportunity to help you guys also know how to set your API key. So now I'm going to click on remove VG and then set my API key. So when you click set your API key, it brings up this interface asking you to go to remove VG website and create a free account if you don't have a free account there. But if you already have a free account, good and fine, just click remove VG and it opens up this interface for you. And now that you've opened up this interface, it's going to ask you to, it's going to show you this. In a situation whereby you're not working, you're not doing any design in Figma, maybe you have an image that you need to remove the background, you are free to come to www.removebg and upload your image and it will remove it for you. You download it into your phone. But here now, the purpose to which we came here is different. We want to connect the API key to the plugin in Figma so that whenever we are in Figma and there is an image in Figma and we right click and say run, it will just remove that image in Figma without us coming to the website to remove it. So what we need to do is come to this place and go to tools and API. So when we click on tools and API so that you follow along and see what I'm doing. So now that we are here, tools and API, you have to come to API and command line. So when you come to API and command line, when you come to API and command line, it will ask you when you come to APIs, it asks you how do I get an API key. So click here and it will ask you to, you can create an API in your account profile, blah blah blah. So I'm going to follow through to account profile to see what it has for me there. So now it's asking me to register. Okay, I think I recall why my own did not work immediately, because I cleared my browser's search engine or whatever. So now I have to let me sign up with Google. So I'm going to choose the account that I intend to use. So it opens up to the account and then it asks me, do I want to continue? I'll say yes, I want to continue. And now, because I've signed up, it has opened the dashboard for me, asking me to. So it has opened the dashboard up for me, and I'm going to go to API keys. So if I click on API keys, these are all the APIs. These are all the API keys I've been creating since 2022. So there are sometimes you can come to Figma to run the remove BG thing, and it will just stop working for whatever reason. So you just have to right click and click on set API key and follow through to where you get to this place that we are. So I'm going to click create new API key. Hey, don't tell me that these people have started monetizing it. Oh, I think they've started monetizing it. So, um, so right now, I don't know if your own is working, but if you click on API key, if you click on API key and click new API key, so basically I've reached my own limit. But let me try copying this API key and see if it's going to work. Let me copy this, know if mine is going to work. So let me right click now and see if it's going to run. Okay, the API key is invalid. So, but if you follow through on your own end, you should be able to get the API key. So before, this thing was not paid for, but these days everybody's monetizing everything, and it's asking me to my plan includes maximum of, that means I've used up my API keys. So I have to improvise. And what I need to do now is to come to their main website, since my own is no longer working, but I believe your own will be working since it's a new account. And Control V. Okay, it's asking me to. So let me save this image to my system. So now I'm going to export. If I click on export, I will export the image I'll export the image, and then I can come to this place and upload it from here. So since I'm uploading it from here, I'll go to my system, click the image BG website. Well, the difference between what I'm just doing now and what I wanted to do for you earlier is to show you that you can have access to removing it from Figma using the remove BG plugin. But since I've exhausted my plan, it's no longer possible for my own account unless I pay them to use it. But if it's not still working for you in that regard, you can just go to their website www.removebg, and you can proceed and do what you need to do over there. So that is what I have done because I've run out of the free plan, and as you can see, that is what we currently have. And yes, this is it. So now I have successfully brought in an image that doesn't have a background. So the next thing we have is sip and snack. So for this sip and snack, what I'm going to do is come here, copy, Control C. Let me ensure that you can still hear me. Okay, great. So I'm going to come here. Then I've copied that in. So I'll just come here, Control V, and paste it. It's too big, so let me delete it. Let me use this size that I'm using here. So Control C and Control V. Then I will have this here. Then what we have there is sip and snack. So we're having. I'm just going to edit this to sip and snack. Then this other one is buy coffee, get a free cookie, sweeten your day extra today. Buy coffee. So buy coffee and get a free cookie, and get a free cookie. So sweeten your day extra today. So we have this. Now I'm just going to align it properly to what we have. Sorry, Control Z. Okay, so as you can see, there's a space between the S. It's not on the same line with the by. And I tried aligning it, but it was not working. Why? Because I set this thing to align center. So to achieve the uniformity between the by and the S, I'm going to align left. And now it has aligned properly. And I'm having this. So the next thing I have there is claim offer. So for this claim offer, what I'm going to do is let me get this my icon, that is this my what's it called, action icon, and place Control Z, Control V. So I'm going to get this, but I'm going to be reducing the size and all. So using my scale tool, I've reduced it, and what claim offer is what I'm going to name it. So, and also the font color has to be the same transparent. So we have to change the color to white. Not even white, what's it called? Gradient. So 2412. So we're having this. and we're seeing how it's turning out to be. So I'm going to change the text to claim your offer. So you can see how I was intentional to say your, so that I'll put the possessiveness in the customer's, in the user's mind, that this particular offer belongs to them. So I'm going to change the this thing to semi-bold to make it more pronounced. So you can see that what we have here is claim offer. Claim offer, when you talk about UX writing, it's sounding like just claiming offer. But when you personalize it, telling the customer that claim your offer, it kind of gives them this feeling of, yes, it belongs to me, it is mine, that kind of feeling. So if you understood what I'm saying, that is that. Then also, now we've gotten the elements that make up this particular now we've gotten the elements that make up this particular card. It's time to start grouping them to make them a unit. Just like if you hover here, you can see that this one is a unit. But if you hover here, you can see that all these things are existing on their own. They are scattered. If I want to move it around now, can you see that I'm only moving one thing around? So Control Z. That's why you have to group things so that they look neat. And also, I don't want this coffee to just stand, this biscuit to just stand alone on its own. So what I'm going to do is let me say cup, coffee can, kind of make it look something that will the customer will connect more with. So I'll go with this. I will copy, I'll save the image. I'll save the image. I'll now go to removebg.com. So remove bg. uh I'll go to their website since my API key is not working because I've exhausted the API this thing that they have for free version them to have access to it, which I'm not ready to do that. So I'll be using their website for the free version. So I'll click on this, remove it from Figma. You can just use it directly from there. But that's what you can do with your paid version of the API key. So now I will bring it into my Figma. So if I bring it into my Figma, I'll reduce the size. So I want something that will make it look nice rather than just the, what's it called? The biscuit existing on its own, the cookie. So I have the cookie here. Then what's it called? Let me right click to have access to. mm, so you can see how I'm strategically positioning these things to great. And because it is the cookie that we are promoting, I have to click on the cookie and bring it to the front. So the cookie is what we are promoting. So it has to be in front. Whilst at the same time, I'm stylishly trying to also put attention on the coffee. But the cookie is what we are trying to promote. While I'm also at the same time stylishly trying to put attention on the coffee. So now we have these two things, and they have to be a group. So Control G, I will group. I've grouped these two things. Now the next thing is these two, they already belong together. So this and this needs to belong together. So this Control G. So now that these two things have belonged together, this and this need to come together. So I'll select these other ones, align them to the center, and Control G. So now that this thing is now existing as a group, they need to work in unity with the rectangle that is housing them. So I also click on the rectangle and align it to the center. No, sorry, align to the center is fucking off things, Control Z, because of the extra spaces that these things are having. You can see it. Let me control it. So I'll hold down my control key and hold down my laptop tab to control this excess space that this image has. Because right now, if I'm doing align to the center, sorry, It is calculating with those empty spaces that this image has. So right now I have this and I have the rectangle selected, our line to the center, our line. So you can see now that it's aligning properly because I've controlled the spacing between each images. So also right now, there is no enough spaces. So I need to work on the space. I need to work on the space between this and this. So the group name is 31. So I have to reduce the spacing in their middle. Let's use 54 and see what happens. So selecting again and aligning it to the center. You can see now that I have enough space around the card. And if I blind it, you can see that now they are a unit. They've been grouped together. And now we've had our own design of this. So we'll be stopping here in today's class, and tomorrow we'll proceed in designing the remaining sections. So if you have any question, let me know, and I can attend to it right now. But if you don't, this has been a long class from 11, 12. Now I think what's the time? To 2. And I'm thankful and happy that this particular one recorded successfully. So, Precious, if you have any question, please let me know. If you don't, just let me know too, so that I know that you are hearing me and truly you don't have any questions. So, please, once again, if you have questions, please let me know. And if you have enjoyed today's class and you've understood everything that we have done so far, please also let me know. So now we have successfully created this design. Look at what we've created so far together. So we have the splash screen, we have the splash screen, the onboarding 1, onboarding 2, onboarding 3, onboarding 4, the empty state for creating accounts, the filled state for creating accounts, the empty state for login, and the filled state for login. Okay, I didn't rename this to filled. So we have the filled state for login. So this is that. And then when the user has finished logging in, they need to get into the app. So, and this is what we have. So currently, personally, I don't like this brown color that we're using, but I'm just trying to bring you together on how to create what we have here. So when we are done creating exactly what we have here, I might decide to change this brown color uh, to suit the overall feel of what we are designing. But for now, because I'm trying to make you see how these things are created, or I'm going with what we have, and we're going to recreate it. And when we're done recreating it, and the color does not suit the color of everything we are trying to do, we are at liberty to change it. But at this very moment, I'm showing you how to recreate things. So also bear that in mind. And now this thing will no longer be sign in, it will be homepage. So I'll name it as Cynthia Coffee mobile app homepage. So this is our homepage. And you've seen how we've created what we've created so far. And look at how I'm grouping all these things. All these things are a group, ensuring that your work is neat. It makes sure it helps organize that your work is neat. Because when doing prototype, right, when we start doing prototype, you will see that it is very important that your work, everything is organized and is in unity. So I'm coming back to the charts. You've not still identified if you can hear me or if you have any questions. But if you don't have any questions, this is where we'll be ending today's class. Hopefully you can hear me. Or if you can't hear me, I don't know what else to do. So just like I said, just write class understood for me to know that you can still hear me and the network is clear. And if you don't have any question, also let me know if you don't have any question. But if you have any question, let me know so that I can attend to it immediately. Can you hear me? Do you have any question? Can you hear me? Do you have any question? Do you guys have any question? The two people in the class. Do you have any question? Can you hear me? And are we free to end the class? Is it the network? I have two people in the class. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. And see you on Monday. Bye.